well? I stand here tonight, 29, a proud queer person, your Greens candidate for Wills. So if you live in Pascoe Vale or Brunswick West or East, Coburg, bits of Coburg North, Glenroy, Faulkner, Oak Park, Hadfield, that kind of area. It's a lot of areas. I am your local Greens candidate. It has been a long journey for me personally to be here. I was born in Arnhem Land in a small town called Nhulunbuy. I was born into a working class family. My dad was a police officer, my mum was a bank teller. She took time off paid work to raise my sister and I, and they were really prioritising our education. Neither of them finished high school or went to uni themselves, so they really were keen for us to go to a good high school. So I did go to a private school, but in Darwin, it's kind of the same as like a public Melbourne school, right? And yeah, I went to uni. My sister and I also went to uni. We weren't a political family, so I have told a few people this, but the first election I voted in, I actually voted for the Liberals. Like I said, it's been a journey, you know. So, to be fair, I got paid $50 to hand out for my family friend who was the Liberal candidate in Darwin at the time. So I just followed that how to vote card that I was handing out. But then I went on a journey. In 2010, I voted for Labor, and it was only in 2013 when I was living in Melbourne that I voted for the Greens for the first time, where I voted for Adam Bandt. And how could you not vote for Adam Bandt? So although we weren't a political family, my mum always had a strong sense of social justice, and I think she passed that on to my sister and I. So in 2007, I was one of 700 young people who went on the Make Poverty History road trip. We travelled across the country for a week, campaigning for our political leaders, all of them to commit to increasing Australian aid and doing our fair share to tackle global poverty. In 2013, I found myself on a stage on the lawns of Parliament House in Canberra, leading 1,000 young people at that road trip to end poverty. We had an ambitious title. But I was on stage there. We had then Foreign Minister at the time, Bob Carr. We had Christine Milne, then leader of the Greens. And we had a Liberal, but I can't really remember who they were. But I was standing in front of there, and we were leading 1,000 young people chanting and calling on all of our political leaders to do our fair share and increase Australian aid. It's a fight that continues to this day. After that, I was a youth representative to the United Nations, which let me travel all across the country and talk to young people about the issues that they care about. And we wanted to tie it to action as well. We didn't just want to hear what young people cared about, but talk to young people about the power that they have to create the worlds that they want to see. So we ran a big Enroll to Vote campaign and said, you've got to vote for the people that will fight for the things that you believe in. And we have seen how powerful young people are just in the last few months with the school strikes for climate, the student strikers there. Hands up if you've been to one of those student strikes for climate. Yeah, lots of people in this room. How inspiring are they? So after that, I've worked in the Human Rights Commission in Victoria. Basically, I've campaigned for social justice, probably from my mum's influence, for the last decade or so, and that leads me to being a Greens candidate here today. The reason that I'm running for the Greens is that right now we are one of the wealthiest countries in the world, but economic inequality is at a 70-year high. While our country is getting richer, the wealth is ending up in the hands of a fewer and fewer, smaller and smaller amounts of wealthy people, leaving the rest of us behind. It is a national disgrace that in this wealthy country, over 100,000 people are homeless. People like my mum, older women who have separated from their partners, are the fastest growing group of people facing homelessness because they don't have the super or the savings because they took time off paid work to raise their kids. That is a disgrace. When we have 1 in 7 children living in poverty, when we have people who are looking for work and are living off New Start that hasn't risen for 25 years, condemned to a life of poverty, that is a disgrace. Yeah. We have economic inequality at a 70-year high. We also have climate change getting worse. We started this year with 1/3 of flying fox's population in Queensland dying because of an extreme heat wave. Queensland was flooding while Tasmania's ancient forests that haven't burnt were going up in flames. I think these two crises are the things that our political leaders should be tackling, yet so many of them refuse to do anything about it. Instead, they drive fear and hatred between us based on our gender identity, our sexuality, our race, and our religion to try and distract us from what's really happening, and that is that they are doing the bidding of their big corporate donors rather than acting in the public interest. This is the state of politics that we find ourselves in, and I think this is why so many people are tuning out of politics. We're going door knocking every weekend, and we're going up further and further north, and so many people are saying, I don't see why I should listen to politics. I feel like nothing ever changes. The thing is, I'm an optimist. I have hope. There are things happening around the world that do give me hope. The student strikers for climate, for example. That is a movement that we haven't seen in so many years, and it's touched so many people across the world. The Greens are the party that want people to tune back into politics. We put people and the planet at the heart of our politics, and we don't take those big corporate donations from companies trying to buy political influence. Instead, we are powered, our campaigns, everything that we do are powered by people like you. We want our politicians to be accountable to the community and start tackling the issues that we all face. We can be a country that instead of talking about building a new coal-fired power station, phases out coal, acts on the climate emergency, and transitions to 100% renewable energy. We can be a country that makes the super wealthy and big companies pay their fair share of tax, and rather than entrenching inequality, we tackle it, we address it, we lift New Start, we make sure that dental is in Medicare so that people who need healthcare can get it for free, like a truly universal system. People who need a roof over their head, can get that as well by building new public and affordable housing. We can be a country like New Zealand, it seems, that elects leaders that instead of driving fear and hatred, champions every single one of us because of our race, because of our religion, because of our sexuality, our gender, our ability, because our diversity is our strength. Our diversity makes all of our lives richer, and we deserve leaders who champion us rather than try to drive us apart. So that's why right now, more than ever, it's important that we get more Greens elected into Parliament. We need to kick the Conservatives out, that's for sure. If your big, bold idea is to build a new coal-fired power station in 2019, you deserve to go. But with Labor set to win across the board, we can't just trust Bill Shorten and Labor alone to address these crises that we face. We know that they take those big corporate donations. We know that they say one thing in inner city Melbourne and say something else in Queensland when it comes to stopping Adani, ending all new coal and banning coal experts. We know that they haven't committed to closing Manus and Nauru and ending offshore detention. And we know that they aren't committed to getting dirty money out of politics. All of these reasons are why we need to elect more Greens MPs to support a Labor government when they're doing well, but to hold them to account on these big issues. We can do that. Yeah. The exciting thing is that we can do that right here in Wills. We, the people in this warehouse in Brunswick, are the people-powered movement that can change the direction that our country is going in. We here have so much power and so much opportunity because we are a Greens Labor marginal seat. When Sam Ratnam ran in 2016, it's such a hard thing to fill Sam's shoes, by the way, as a Wills candidate. But when Sam ran in 2016, Sam secured a massive 10% swing towards her, turning this into a marginal seat for the first time in many, many years. So if we can secure just half that swing this time round, if we can change 5,000 votes out of 110,000, we'll win. We'll send someone to represent our community who will fight for us and for our values, who will be accountable to the community, not to big corporate donors. That's the opportunity we have here. And this is we've been knocking on doors for a long time. We've knocked on over 6,000 doors. We are in the process of building the biggest people-powered campaign that Wills has ever seen. And this is all part of it. We have 6 or 7 weeks left. I'm so grateful to see everybody here in this room to hear about our campaign. And I hope that over the next 6 or 7 weeks that you step up and join this movement and drive us forward, because to win, we need you. We can't do this without you. We know that Labor is feeling threatened. They're spending a lot of money in this seat. We're probably going to be outspent 5-1. But money isn't everything. If you look around you in this room, this is what matters. And so I ask you, there's going to be a couple of asks of you over the night. Luckily, I don't have to make them. But I ask you to listen and to think about what you can do over the next 6 or 7 weeks to make history here in Wills and elect our first Greens MP ever. So, thank you for coming.
Everybody get rowdy for Adam Pulford! Woo! Oh my God, Adam.